some of that. So, first thing regarding the point on the draft dodgers about how we will be, about how people who avoid the conscription will be made felons. That's always been the case. Back in the Vietnam War, when the draft dodging was at its worst, people were being made, or it was a felony crime, just as it would be now, and people still did it. 210,000 charged, hundreds of thousands more not charged, and they still did it. So I fail to see, and the government created sort of an amnesty forgiveness type of bill for people who avoided conscription. It just straight up said, we forgive you guys, it's okay. So to think now that it would be any different when we're not in, well, no, we are in a serious conflict, forget that. But to think that it would be any particularly different now doesn't seem very appropriate. People, if they don't want to do it, they will find ways to get around it. And there exists legal ways to get around it anyways. With the, they haven't mentioned the conscription being any different than it was back then in terms of exemptions. So they may still be able to fake being unwell, student exemptions, things like that. There's still ways to get around it, whether or not it's a felony charge, because it's always been a felony charge. People found ways around it. Another thing is, in regards to the draft bringing war to a close, I disagree with that. I think that that conscription actually has a tendency to perpetuate wars, because we always have soldiers to throw into it. There was one, let's see, a man, Bart Fraser, who was an article writer for a congressional congressman, said that on the battlefield, whatever country you are sent to, you will have to kill others in order to survive, and you die yourself, most likely for a cause that's not worth killing or dying for. Problem with the draft is that if you are forcing people to serve in the military, then you will always have more troops to throw at the problem. So the draft is not so much a way to solve wars, that would be a job for a change in political structures. In terms of our problems with Mexico, okay, there's drug smuggling and human trafficking. That doesn't mean we're at war with them. Israel is actively being attacked by its geographic neighbors. Mexico is just bringing things here that it shouldn't be. And that's really more of a job for the Border Patrol, not the US military. And even if we had more soldiers or people trained as soldiers in that general area, they don't exactly have military equipment with which to counter all of that kind of thing. They would be essentially trying to fight drug cartels hand to hand, which these are the people who are bringing drugs and humans over here, so they're armed to the teeth. So I would not advise going hand to hand against people with fully automatic weaponry. It doesn't work. That's it. That's it for me.